Ocean Vuong's new novel, The Emperor of Gladness. It was so good. It was so good. So now we are going to drop everything we were reading, and instead we're going to read The Emperor of Gladness, and that's it. That's what I got. Boop. Could that be? Yeah, it's okay. I'd love to be aesthetic, but homegirl needs reading glasses, so. don't know why I'm so discombobulated, but I'm having some feelings. And look, I'm only 20 pages in, so that's fine. But I have questions because switching to regular glasses, I'm gonna take a break. My questions center around, there is a clarity in this one that, or a soberness maybe in this one that I don't experience in On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. And I don't know how to express that fully, but it's like, I'm only 20 pages in. I have to say that again because this just may not be something that I've experienced yet. But in On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, I felt like I was experiencing, you know, kind of like a fever dream where I, you know, at every, like, On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous is made up of, from what I understand, like a bunch of vignettes. And so you have these like little mini, where's my phone? Let's make sure that we understand what we're talking about. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous has all of these little vignettes. And I will say I'm still kind of in the opening section until maybe I just haven't experienced it yet. But actually, I have the book and it's sitting here. So why don't we just... Okay. I don't know that I can adequately describe what it is I'm trying to say, but On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, these are both first-person accounts. Like this one is an epistolary novel, but it's a series of little vignettes, you know? And so, and vignettes are fun because you, at least from what I've experienced with Ocean Vuong, you can move really quickly through time because it's sort of episodic, and so it's like just one thing after another thing after another thing. And it's like in this novel it's kind of charged with not emotion, but like, I don't know, it's just like, it's a fever dream. It's, everything is at stake here. And it's not to say that that's not the case here, especially without spoiling, like where, like the first scene of this novel is, you know, I won't spoil it. It takes place in the first 2 pages, but the first scene of this novel is charged, like in terms of what's taking place, and then this one is emotionally charged. And it's weird because what's at stake here feels more like, this feels like this is more in the body and this is more kind of in the mind. And I don't know how else to explain that, but they're equally charged, you know, they're equally important, all of that stuff. But this one feels more calm. It feels a bit less fever dreamy. It feels more like I'm very much grounded and cemented in my scene. Like nothing is happening that I'm confused about. Even the metaphors right now are very, very grounded, and that is not something that I experience in Ocean Vuong's poetry and even in his first novel. Like, obviously it's beautiful work. I love this. This is like the poet novel, or this is like the archetype of like the poet novelist over here. And here I'm just like taken aback by how different it is so far. Okay, I'm gonna say again, this is just 20 pages in, but I don't know, I'm interested and excited to see what happens. And yeah, just where he goes from here. But I'm having a good time. Also, so the last time I saw Ocean Vuong at an author event, like an author talk, was 6 years ago when his first novel came out. And I think I also saw him I didn't see him for Time as a Mother, but I saw him for Night Sky with Exit Wounds because he came to my college when I was an undergrad. And I just want to say that every single time I hear him speak, he says something so beautiful and profound, and I'm just like, yes, say that again. And one thing, shit, everything's fine. One thing that he said yesterday that I thought was really cool was he was having a conversation about language and colonialism, and if you've heard Ocean Vuong speak, his language is politically charged, his writing is politically charged. It is not because of anything other than it has to be. Like, as a person of color, like as somebody who's inspired at all by a life even adjacent to your own, you're going to write out of your experience, even just a little bit. And he did allude to how he, you know, writes out of his experience, even if it's like a 10%, whatever, he's writing out of his experience with a person whose story has inspired him. He's not writing their story. And I have this romantic idea that every form of writing is autobiographical, at least a little bit. And so maybe I'm just like thinking of myself and like the writers who I really enjoy, because when, you know, you can see parts of them in the work. But anyway, when he was talking about language and colonialism, he said that language is a coercive technology. We are all being worked over by it. And something about that just, I need an allergy pill. It poured in Houston yesterday or the day before. I think it rained both days because it's still a little wet outside, and there was a ton of pollen, and I think it's just been washing away, and I'm allergic to the outdoors. I still go outside, I still love outside, but I'm a little bit allergic. And I just walked my dogs, so this is me just adjusting to my surroundings. But anyway, when he said that language is a coercive technology and that we're all being worked over by it, something about that just spoke to my soul. And I had a thought, but I lost a train of thought when I sneezed, and so we'll just let it be. Oh, I remember. It's like, so when I was talking with my therapist and also my husband, we were having a conversation, not at the same time, like at different times, but the same day, about how like language is inherently manipulative, and everybody is manipulative. They're meaning that everybody has an aim, not that they're being malicious or whatever, but everybody has an aim. And I don't know, I guess it was like a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, because nobody wants to think of themselves as participating in the manipulation. But then when you really think about it, everything, like when you're having a conversation, whether it's like at work, you're talking to a client or your supervisor or whatever, you're trying to tell a particular story, and maybe it's the truth, but you're choosing, you know, your diction for a purpose, and that purpose is to communicate a point so that it's received in a particular way. And when I'm talking to my kids and I'm like, you know, I mean, I manipulate them all the time, if I'm being just completely honest, because, you know, sometimes you just need kids to do things and they don't want to do them, and you don't always have the time to explain why the thing needs to be done, and so you just tell them what to do, and if they don't listen right off the bat, you find a way to make them listen, and then you come back and correct later. This is not parenting advice, because it's not. I'm just saying, you know, what I've done, you know, at different times in my life as a mom or as an employee. I might cut that part out. Anyway, but I thought that was cool. The other cool thing he said was, to have hope in something is to believe in it enough to try. And that was a little bit terrifying, because I think it's just the age I'm at. Like, I'm 31, almost 32 next month. And I am at the time in my life where people begin to think about the paths that they took and what could have been versus what is, and what choices you can make to have like a positive what is in the future, like that kind of thing. And you know, I don't know, I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want to like freak myself out, but you know, just the thought of what it's like to think back to insert whatever it is here, when when trying was more, not possible, but when there were less stakes, you know? I don't know, all in all, it was a really, really cool talk. I always love getting the chance to listen to Ocean Vuong just speak, because he is so eloquent, and if you get a chance, I would, you know, take some time to listen to some of his interviews. I'll put a couple of my favorite ones in the description thing, just because I think everybody should get a chance to listen to Ocean Vuong's interviews. And yeah, other thing is, he is Oprah's he's on Oprah's book club this year for this book, and so I'm gonna watch their interview together. I haven't watched it yet, but I don't know, I'm just having a good old time. Also, the reading that from yesterday was hilarious. He read from page, I'm not going to read it, I just want to give you a chance to go back and read it yourself. Page 90, he started with the first person I saw, and that's where it starts. In retrospect, I said it was hilarious. It was hilarious, but it's not maybe so funny. But it's really funny the way he reads. So read that. Read page 90 to 91. Skip the very last paragraph, and then read. Okay, this is a funny section. 94. Starting at the rooms are named, and go through to just to page 95 and read up until the thing that says I was adopted. That was so funny. That was so funny. Anyway, so I'm going to do a little bit of work, and then I will do some more reading in a little bit, and I will try to pull you back up when that happens. Today it's Wednesday, the 28th, and I have to do a little work, and I heard my manager send me a little doo-doo, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my kids to my mom, go to therapy, and meet up with my best friend, because there's another author event that we're going to, and so maybe I'll make this like a random thing where it's just like me going to author events and reading all their books and being a little bit chatty. I think that could be fun. Yeah, I'll read those books. So yeah, let's do that. I think I realized what I was trying to say before, which is that this is more conventional storytelling than I'm used to from him. And that's different. It's neither good nor bad. It's just different. Also, look how dark it is outside. How can I show this to you? Look at how dark it is out there. Crazy. Okay. Don't look at my car, it's messy. We are sleepy. It's already been kind of a long day, and that is fine. We're gonna just deal with it. I'm trying to figure out, I was listening to an audiobook. I'm going to like an author event in a little bit, in like 2 hours, and so I'm already parked naturally in the parking lot ready, and I was listening to an audiobook of bless me. Yeah, I'm finishing up the N.K. Jemisin series, the Broken Earth trilogy. I have just like 4 or so hours left, I think. Let me see. I have 4 hours and 57 minutes left, and I really like this book. I really, really like it. The only thing is that there's a lot of depth to this world, and a lot of like scientific language, and I really like it. But right now I'm a bit sleep deprived, and so it's not working for me. Like I think I need more attention than I have, or I need to be doing something with my hands while I do it. And I did bring some yarn with me because I like to crochet. I think I already talked about my little crochet bags that I make, and I brought some yarn with me from home, but I'm not really feeling like I want to do anything. Like I'm not feeling inspired, and so I wonder if I should just try and read the Ocean Vuong book I got yesterday, which I think would be a good decision, or if I want to just like watch a reading vlog and maybe crochet while I watch a reading vlog. I'm just really tired right now, and so I think I'll do some reading. I have a few books with me. I have, let's see, I have Legendborn, which I haven't read in a couple of days. Like I haven't picked up in a couple of days, and I think I'm only on like page 50. Let's see. Yeah. And then I also have, I almost called this On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, but this is The Emperor of Gladness, and that's the book I got yesterday. And then I also have The Sound and the Fury. So I just think that there are times where you need to do a little bit of like sometimes I like to read something a bit more difficult so that I can keep my brain awake. I'm sorry, I'm in a parking lot and so I'm looking around everywhere. Not that I don't, like generally I don't look at the camera a lot. That's something that I am working on. That's not cute. It's okay, I can deal with the sun. I have sunglasses. So why don't we just do that for a minute while I finish having this conversation with myself. Okay, so that's better. So I don't generally look at the camera when I'm talking. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just so new that I just don't know what I'm doing, and I also naturally look around. I think more than most people, I look, you know, up here and all around and over there. I look everywhere else when I'm having a conversation because I'm having to produce an original thought, and I guess that requires a lot of work on my end, and so I'm looking around to grasp whatever the thing is I'm trying to grasp from up there in the ether. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So I think I'm going to try and read. I can't decide what to read. What was I saying about The Sound and the Fury? Oh, I read a lot of classics, and typically, or what I used to do is I would read some poetry. I'd have some poetry on the go. I would have some, you know, like something like super fantasy-esque, you know, and then something like, I would say for my fantasy, it was more low stakes fantasy. Like I'm only recently getting into high fantasy and such. So when I say fantasy, I mean like something a little bit fluffier, where the only stakes, maybe I'm talking about romantasy. The stakes are high, but the stakes are the relationship, you know, they're not like, you know, the state of the world or anything like that. And then the equivalent of like an ACOTAR. And then the last thing I would have is like a classic, or, well, yeah, a classic, and that could be just anything, just to pick a classic. It's either a modern classic or it's a regular classic. And what I've noticed is that lately it's a lot more difficult for me to read, and I'm wondering if it's because I don't want to say like challenging myself, because I don't think that you have to be reading a classic to challenge yourself, but it's more like I need to be doing some sort of cognitive cardio. You know what I mean? Like some sort of cognitive vigorous exercise, and typically for me that's like a you know, like reading War and Peace, which was fun, or reading David Copperfield, which isn't like especially difficult, it just requires your attention. This little kid is so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, cute dad with his 2 little boys, and one of the boys has on rain boots and shorts and a t-shirt, and that one reminds me of Milo, my youngest son. His name is Milo, and he's just like, you know what, vibes. And then the other one is dressed almost sort of appropriately for the weather. It's a very it's a very sunny day here in Houston after being really dreary. It's the 28th of May, and it was like really crappy weather since Memorial Day a couple days ago. It's just been weird, but that was really cute because that kid was like, I'm dressing for the vibes, weather be damned, and I think that that's adorable. But I think what I was trying to say was that when I almost said when I dress, when I read something that I find really, really difficult alongside reading something that's more moderate, it engages me more effectively, and I read better and I read more. And something in me craves to continue reading, maybe because I'm like feeling like I'm doing a hard thing, and so I want to keep going because I want to feel that sense of accomplishment from doing the hard thing. So I say all that to say, I want to read The Sound and the Fury. Benjamin McAvoy on YouTube has a Patreon book club, and I'm only in a couple of Patreons, or I'm only subscribed, I guess, to a couple of Patreons. How do you say it? I'm a patron for a couple of people, like 3. And those people are Benjamin McAvoy, Olivia Reads a Latte, and Booked and Busy. And the reason I'm subscribed to Benjamin McAvoy is because he has the Hardcore Literature Book Club. And I mentioned this in my very first video, 5 minutes ago, but I really, really enjoy, and I said this just now, I guess I really enjoy a vigorous, challenge when reading, if I can. And the more I make myself do it, the more capacity I have to do it. And I think that part of the reason that I haven't been reading very much lately, and then, by proxy haven't been writing much, is that I have not been challenging myself in that way. And so I'm just not engaged in the same way, and it's not working for me. I started this whole thing, I said it was because Carrie Can Read put a book tag up, and it is, but I also knew that something had to give, because me not reading, and me especially not writing, is not me, and it feels just so sucky. It feels like actually the life is being sucked out of me, because like the thing that I do and the way that I show up in the world just suddenly isn't accessible to me, and that's just weird. So long diatribe over, I am reading The Sound and the Fury, or I'm starting The Sound and the Fury, because I need to give myself like tiers of books to come to. And I would say that for me, it's like these 2 are my like harder like tiers, meaning they're gonna be more challenging reads. And I don't know how to explain what that means. It's just they're gonna be more cognitively, engaging, I guess. And then this one is going to be, and this is not me disparaging Tracy D. I'm like, this is beautiful. I love this, but I need to stack what I'm doing. And then I've been carrying around this. Let me just show you what else I'm carrying around. I don't know what any of the videos I'm recording are meant to do, but I'm reading this because I'm so sorry about the sun. There we go. I'm kind of into the Enneagram and the vibes, and I was reading the kids one just because I have like kids, and I was trying to understand their personalities, and obviously they're still developing. You don't know everything right now, but the kid version of that gave me some resources for how to sort of deal with my little humans, especially my youngest, and so that was cool. This is another one I just kind of carry around all the time, and this is, I don't know if you've ever heard the podcast Poetry Unbound, but this is exceptional. and the collection of poems that he's put together, and then the little essay that comes right after, or is it right before? Let me see. I think it's after. Is that Raymond Antrobus? So good. There's a poem called Signs Music. I won't get into poetry because I feel like poetry has to be its own thing, and as a matter of fact, that might be a thing that happens very soon. But this is very good for when you're just trying to figure it out, and you need, like for me, like when I'm craving poetry but I just don't know what I want to read. There's a lot of really good, mostly contemporary poems. And then this is another one that I've just recently returned to. I think I read this in college for the first time. This is called Look by Solma Sharif, and she is an Iranian, she's a poet of Iranian descent. And yeah, 2016, I was in college. I was but a babe. I was not a babe. When I was in college, I was like 2 years older than everybody, I want to say, because I did the whole, I want to just be a butterfly and fly and, you know, hang out after high school. I did that for a little minute because I knew I would need a break. And then once I got back to school, you couldn't keep me out. I actually want to go back to school right now. But anyway, Look by Solma Sharif. Very good. Very, I don't really know how to qualify this. It's just beautiful. It's beautifully written. It's devastating. You should read it. But this is not that video, so let me stop doing that. Anyway, what I was saying is I'm gonna do some reading. I will update you after I have done said reading, and I'll let you know what I read and what I'm thinking so far. And I'm thinking I'm gonna try and stick, because I'm kind of recording a video for reading Legendborn and for reading The Emperor of Gladness. And so I'm gonna do one of two things. I'm either gonna mash them together, or I'm gonna keep them separate and have like separate things. But the thing is that the one for Legendborn, that is kind of turning unintentionally into a vlog, like a little reading vlog, or like a random vlog with some reading, because I am just really suffering and kind of struggling to keep my focus. And so if it ends up all being one thing, it's going to be really long, and I don't know if this brand new baby channel is ready for that. But I'm afraid that if I keep them separate, I won't read Legendborn, and it's again not because I don't like it, it's because the attention span is just everywhere. So yeah, as a matter of fact, I was looking at the clips I had recorded for Legendborn, and they're just, it's already so long, and I'm 50 pages in. Like, why is it so long? Yeah. I'm also tempted to just, this is gonna be all over the place when this is, when this is published, it's gonna be really funny, but I'm also tempted to just do, to read the entire trilogy and make that a vlog. Let's read Legendborn together, or let's me read Legendborn, and the 3 or 4 of you out there can vibe with me a little bit. So this, I don't even know where this clip goes. Does this go into the Emperor of Gladness, or does this go into Legendborn? I guess that depends on what we read. What if we just read a page of each and see what sticks? Let's try that. Okay. Legend. Let's see. See, I feel like I could really get into this. I read, 5 seconds, but I feel like it could be the one. Ocean Vuong just has me in a chokehold, and I don't know if I can leave just yet. You know what? Let's be surprised, and let's see. Let's see what happens together. I just realized what I'm gonna do. I've been gone for 5 seconds, but I just realized what I'm gonna do. I'm going to prioritize the Emperor of Gladness because I am sitting in the parking lot for another author talk and I'm waiting for my best friend. And I was just thinking, what if this is just a reading vlog? Like let's drop everything so I can read Ocean Vuong's sophomore novel plus an extra book event. Because this one is for This Could Be Forever by Ebony Liddell, and I'm at Kindred Stories in Houston, which is a cutesy little black owned bookstore, and they just moved into a bigger location across the street from their original location, and I haven't been inside yet. And so I feel like because I'm going to 2 author talks and they're one day after the next, like literally yesterday, which was Tuesday, was Ocean Vuong, and then today, Wednesday, is Ebony Liddell. I've never heard of her before now, so don't judge me. So I feel like the Ocean Vuong reading vlog will be, let's drop everything and read Ocean Vuong's sophomore novel, and let's go to 2 reading events together kind of thing. And then I'll just talk about both books. I feel like that's what it's gonna be. And then the Legendborn vlog that I'm working on. Okay, and then the Legendborn vlog will be the one that I do for the next time I do a vlog. We're so smart. And I made a decision today, and that was touch and go there for a minute. Didn't know if it was possible, but here we are. Decision made. I appreciate your thought partnership as I figure out what the hell I'm doing. So, okay. So I read another few pages of The Emperor of Gladness, and I can confirm, I don't know why I put it up, I can confirm that this does continue to be a different feeling kind of book than the first one. And I honestly kind of love it. So, I don't know, I'm torn because I'm trying to get organized because apparently the doors open at 6:30 and I want to get in early and kind of like, you know, wait for my best friend inside so that, well, I just want to be in there early. That's just me. That's just who I am. Wait, I'm laughing at myself because why do I have a pile of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books? 8 if you count the Ocean Vuong book. I was going to, I don't know, so I was considering like doing this and just taking my book inside, but I have my iPad with me and I don't think I want to leave my iPad in the car. If you live in Houston or if you know like Edo area, 3rd Ward, all those areas, it's kind of, you shouldn't leave your bag out anywhere, but I'm not leaving my bag out over here because they will leave and break it into a car out in these streets. So anyway, I'm gonna go inside and I'm going to save our seats. I don't know, I'm crazy. I don't even know this author, but I think I'm going to like her. I think it's going to be a good time, and I should have left the other color on. Out of, you know, positive expectation here. Okay, that's okay. Out of positive expectation, I would like a good seat. So, I'm going to go handle that. And I think I will just take both of my bags, and I'll leave the Emperor of Gladness in this bag, and it'll be like a double bag feature because I don't want to leave this bag in the car, and I'm deciding if I want to leave all my books right here or if I want to put them in the bag. But yeah, I'm excited. So I'm getting ready to go. I'm gonna have the last little sip of my matcha, and I've got about 17 minutes, so I think I'll put the books in the trunk now and kind of, maybe I'll put on some blush. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna put my books in the trunk and we'll go from there. I'll probably read for a few more minutes after I do that. I want to be completely ready to go. The next thing you'll probably see will be me walking into Kindred Stories for the first time in their new location, and also checking out this author talk, and I'll be with my best friend, so maybe we'll like take a selfie or something. I don't know. Okay.
Muscular, and I know blood works on muscular. Hello, but still, it gives you the same achy feeling. Listen.
Prior to being an author, Ebony was a brand marketing director in book publishing, and she worked at Penguin Random House and HarperCollins, among others. You can visit her online.
She rolls her eyes, so I know I got her. You must be crazy if you think I'm not afraid of our mama. Okay, maybe I don't got her. I grab her arms. Diamond, this is a big moment for me. And just think, every time we see this tattoo, we'll think of this night, together. You being with me when I made my first big girl decision. I widen my eyes and flutter my lashes. Please? Why are you so damn dramatic? This night, together, she imitates in a Shakespearean accent, then keeps me on edge 5 seconds too long as she considers the idea. Okay, I squeal and jump like a kid playing hopscotch, but I'm taking the lead here, she demands, putting her fingers in my face. Here we go with the older sister talk. Honestly, that's a good question. I'm just shocked that, well, one, I don't know why I'm shocked, but I am shocked. Like, the reviews of people being like, oh my God, Ebony, like, you were able to, like, really, like, immerse all these things into this book in a way that is clear and is helpful, and that, like, to me was shocking. I don't know, it was shocking for me, because I didn't expect it to hit that hard. I would say, actually, what you said about how you felt like you saw, being able to read both Raja and Deja's character, you felt like you saw like a complete version of yourself within the story, which was wild to me. Because I don't know, I just think there's something really beautiful about that. Like, when I, am writing stories, like, thinking about the diaspora, it's kind of cool that, like, even though that his culture is a different culture, I really wanted to show like general themes in first gen experience. And so it's nice to know that like I was able to pull out the right one, so much so that you were like, yo, I feel like I could be either of these characters. So that was very special. Issue with her not loving herself. She knows she's fly, like she ain't got no problems with that. That's not the issue. Her issue is, I can't believe I got to deal with somebody else trying to tell me I'm not who I am. I'm not that girl, And I think that's really important. My book growing up was The Skin I'm In. That was the book for me that like changed my life.
Okay, so, ooh, that's messy, that corner is, whoop, there, that's better. Okay, so I'm reading The Emperor of Gladness, and I'm on page 52, and I just got to the part about BJ, who is gonna become, who's Sony's boss, and presumably is gonna become High's boss. And does BJ remind you, like BJ and Sony, I guess, and not all of the workers who work there? No, I would say that this store, what's it called? It's called like Home Market. Home Market reminds me of the one novel, A Convenience Store Woman by, I think it's Sayaka Murata. Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. I will say I did not like that book. I gave it 3 stars, but only because I thought that the premise was really interesting. I myself didn't enjoy the read, but I was like, I see what you did there. And I think I read that early this year, probably January or something. But this scene this is my first Home Market scene. I'm sure that I'm only on page 52, like I said, so I'm sure that more will take place here just because it's a staple of the town. But this is my first Home Market scene, and the people in the store who work there are giving vibes of convenience store woman. Like, I feel like I've gotten an archetype for everybody there. The slacker and convenience store woman that the woman ends up like dating or something reminds me of the boy that High meets while he's waiting for BJ to come and talk to him. And the High's cousin Sony reminds me of just other workers who just really, really were excited to do a good job at Home Market, and which is interesting. But the thing that I'm most interested in is how it feels like an archetype almost for what I experienced in Convenience Store Woman. And I don't know if that's just a trope of a particular style of writing, but yeah, that's just an interesting parallel for me. I am really enjoying the book. I do enjoy the scenes where High is with Grazina more, because there's just something very tender about the way he takes care of her. Like, there was this one section a couple pages ago where she was crying because there was a storm, or she was like, I don't know, scared because there was a storm or something. And the tenderness with which he holds her and kind of pulls her back into the present moment where she is and helps her, you know, kind of ground herself in the way that he used to help another family member ground herself is just really sweet and delicate, and I'm enjoying those scenes specifically. Probably also because the entire book so far has been, you know, High and Grazina's interplay, and so this is my first time really seeing him outside of that and in other parts of, I don't know, just it's the first time seeing any other parts of his life. So that's my thought at the moment. I'm I'm going to do a little bit of work and then I'm gonna pick this back up, and I think I'm gonna try this book has like 300 and some odd pages. It's like, let's see how many pages we have in here. It's 396 pages, and so I would really like to get to 100 pages. I'm 52. I'd like to get to 100 pages by this evening, and like this evening I mean like not like late at night, but like, you know, by 6 or 7, because it's my sister and my son's birthday. So she is he was born on her birthday. I feel like I shouldn't just shout people's ages out, but he's turning 6 this year, she's turning another age, and I have to celebrate. We did a family celebration already, but I gotta celebrate him with his brother in like their own little special way. And then I have to go out tonight for my sister's birthday, because I did not go out yesterday because she's doing like a 2-part thing. And I am but a babe, I'm but a child. I don't want to go outside, but I'm gonna go. And so I'd like to make some headway in this first so that I can go out feeling like I've done a little something. I also did start, and let me just grab it. Where are you? Where are you? Why did I do that? No, but where? Oh, it's right there. It's literally right there. I also started, this is The Sound and the Fury. I don't even know if you can see what that says because it's, ooh. But I mentioned in a previous clip that I really wanted to start this, and I was listening to Benjamin McAvoy's like how to read video, because he does a series before he's like, he has a series called How to Read Such and Such a Book. And that's the first book, that's the first video that you start, you know, and then he starts his series, and that's continued on Patreon and, you know, the book discussions and such. And with this guy, I listened to the How to Read, and he had said something about how Faulkner started writing this or wrote this or published it, something like that, when he was either 30 or 31, and he had said something akin to, you know, I'm unpublishable anyways, so I'm just gonna write the novel I want to read. And I've heard about other writers who have said the same thing, and that unlocks something for them, like writing not to an audience but writing to themselves or writing to their community. Like Ocean Vuong said something similar about when he was writing On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, and kind of allowing people a window in, but not explaining himself or his culture, not him, but not explaining, well, yeah, not explaining himself, but also not explaining the culture of Little Dog from, you know, the protagonist from the first novel, to anybody. And you kind of deal with the fact that, you know, you're just going to have to sit in on this one and kind of pick up what's going on through context and experience it in that way without him giving you, you know, an entire long explanation of Vietnamese culture and, you know, why the naming conventions in Vietnamese culture and all of those kinds of things, the trauma that Vietnamese people have because of everything that went on, and the implications that, well, just everything that, you know, the US has to do with that. And he doesn't explain that. He doesn't explain it from that context. He just kind of tells the story in the way that he wants to. And I say all that to say, Benjamin McAvoy explained that Faulkner does a similar thing. I'm not going to say similar from like necessarily a cultural perspective, but similar in that he decides, I'm going to write the novel that, you know, although is unpublishable, is the novel that I want to write. And when he does that, something's unlocked because this novel ends up doing pretty well. And so another thing that he said, Benjamin McAvoy, was that people tend to give up reading this after like the first couple of pages, maybe 2 pages or so. And I think that he said it was because of, how did he put it? I think he said it was because maybe the first few pages feel a little bit unintelligible, and it's because of the person who's explaining or who's telling the story. And so given that context though, given that, you know, given the explanation beforehand that it's going to be a little complicated, that I should expect to be confused, that this narrator might not be the most, there's like a term for it, reliable. This narrator might not be the most reliable. And kind of going into it from that frame of mind and expecting to be a little bit disoriented helped me get through, I guess, what I would feel are the confusing parts. Like I'm only on page 8 right now, but it didn't feel, I don't know, I think like telling myself you're going to be confused made it so that I felt less confused almost. I don't know. Another trick that I, you know, have for getting into reading for the day is I always start with my most complex read, and then I kind of whittle down from there, because I have this idea about levels of entertainment. Like you have the like higher and lower levels of entertainment, and I would consider, like, for example, television, which might not require quite as much of your attention, being a lower level of entertainment. And I watch TV, obviously, but there are like tiers to entertainment. And so in my head, that means that if you start off with like a more difficult tier, like up here, it makes all the other stuff easier. But then the opposite is also true, is when you start off with like the lower levels of entertainment, then it is kind of difficult to bring yourself back up here from an attention standpoint, at least for me. And so I like really love reality TV, and I love like a lot of things. I watch a lot of things, and well, I don't watch a lot of things, but I really love reality TV. But something that I do is like I don't let myself go straight to TV in the morning, because like I work from home, and so my life is pretty chill. But if I go straight to TV, it is a lot harder for me mentally to break into a book. And so all that is to say, from like a literature standpoint, I tend to start with my harder read, which for me is this right now, the Sound and the Fury. And then I go to my like medium, you know, like higher than, you know, like, you know, just like the less, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I go to what I consider the next tier for me. And that's not a good way of saying this. This is a little bit more difficult to read than the Emperor of Gladness. They're both complex, but they're just different levels of difficulty for me. And so I'm gonna start with this, and then my brain is like warmed up for this because I've struggled for a little while. And then I go off to my like slightly fluffier read, if you want to even call it that, because again, everything's complex in its own way. It's just that my brain is working a bit harder for something like this, and then something like that. So then my next book that I would read today for my least priority would be Legendborn, which I am excited to read, but it's more of a treat to myself, and I know that I'll just fly through it because I've been making myself like do this stuff all day. But anywho, so now I'm gonna go and do some work, and probably like watch a little bit of TV, and I'll jump back into books later and give you a little update. Okay, I love how I said I would give you an update and then I never came back. The last thing I recorded was like 3 weeks ago, but I do have an update, and my update is that I got over 200 pages into the Emperor of Gladness, because I got distracted and I read the what's it called? What is it called? I think it's This Could Be Forever by Ebony Liddell. I read that. I read A Court of Mist and Fury. I read A Court of Rain, I think, and Ruin. So like books 2 and 3 of ACOTAR. And I finished which one is it? The third book of the Broken Earth trilogy. So I read 4 books. Didn't read that one. But I am really enjoying it. I don't have too much to say about the Ebony Liddell book. I didn't dislike it. I just didn't really like it. And yeah, I don't really know what else I can say about that. But I am really enjoying the Ocean Vuong book. Now I am kind of getting back into it, because I've done the thing where I get distracted and read everything else because attention span, and that was fun. So I'll be finishing this up, and I will be going and picking up probably the Emily Henry book, Great Big Beautiful Life, and also, I think it's Just for the Summer is the other one that I have. But yeah, that's my little update. This is the end. Thanks for being here for whatever the hell this thing was, and hopefully next time we chat I have more to update you on. And I'm thinking for my next one I'll give like a more in-depth review for the books I've been reading. I guess what I should do is I should just do a June wrap-up and my birthday is on the 28th. And so maybe what I'll do is for my birthday, I'll film a June wrap up, and also I'll film a June wrap up, and I'll also maybe do like a May backwards, a July TBR kind of situation. So reading wrap, TBR vibes. So we'll see what happens, but thanks for hanging out, and I will see you next time.